Holding back. John Ledger, we should say that T-Mobile shares are moving higher by about 1%. They've varied a bit throughout the day, but this is a stock that's up 17% over the past year, 31 billion market cap. He is hiring, he says. We've got so much more we want to show you on that because it was a long interview. You can go to lizclaman.com for the rest of the conversation. It's a web exclusive, lizclaman.com. But we really need to dig more deeply into the potential for a T-Mobile Dish merger. Let me bring in analyst Amir Rozwadowski. He's with Barclays. You're the telecom analyst over there. When you hear that, what did you think? He said he wants to be like Charlie Ergen. He feels he will be the CEO. Ergen would be the chairman. I just read into that. But that he has other options if Ergen says no.
Well, you know, it's our policy not to comment on very specific deals, Liz, but let's talk about, you know, sort of what's happening from an industry perspective, right? More and more of us are consuming video over mobile. More and more of us are doing different kinds of applications and broadband consumption over mobile. What does that need? Well, over time, what you're going to need is you're going to need bigger highways. You're going to need more spectrum. And as John mentioned, you know, in a very colorful interview, you know, the highways and the spectrum is really an attractive option for him. So from our perspective, you know, when you look at where T-Mobile's needs will be over not the next 1 to 2 years, because they definitely have a strong spectrum portfolio to support themselves. But when you look at data bandwidth growth over the next 5 to 10 years, there's certainly an attractiveness to having more spectrum.
I mean, look, they had a failed AT&T merger. They had it failed because regulators or what have you, it didn't work out, failed with Sprint. He does, in a way, need to do a deal, does he not?
Well, I think that the question really is how much grand ideas does he have for the business over the longer term?
He comes up with the Un-carrier idea. He comes up with mobile without borders. He's full of ideas. But at some point, at 31 billion in market cap, who benefits more from a Dish deal? Does Dish benefit more from his ability to reach 59 million subscribers, or does he benefit more from the spectrum that Dish has?
Well, I think that the way we're looking at it is it would be an opportunity to grow a different and new business, right? In terms of spectrum for pipelines for mobile, right, is something that a lot of folks are looking at. We saw that AWS spectrum that raised $40 billion plus for the government. And then the question is, over time, where does consumption go and content consumption? You've seen a lot of the cable operators talk about wireless. You've seen a lot of what's going on in Europe right now, consolidation between fixed and mobile. And so I think that this is really a change in the industry dynamic that folks are looking at.
Yeah, we'll watch for that change. And we know that John will be yelling that change from the mountaintops the loudest. Good to see you, Amir. Thank you. Amir is with Barclays. And let's just keep in mind here with John Ledger that he flat out said that he would be the one to be the CEO of a Dish T-Mobile merger if there is one. So we'll be watching for that.